I guess Lindsay here with Storybook Family Farm. So over the weekend, Tracy and I were actually able to get the entire garden planted out, which was honestly, it was really a bit of a struggle to do so. We had been waiting all week with it being really hot and dry and sunny. Um, we'd been just hoping that somehow, some way, the garden would dry up enough before it started raining again that we could actually get everything in. And let me tell you, that was a very, very challenging weekend to try to get all of this stuff planted out. It's not a huge garden that we have, but it's a lot of work to get the beds prepped, to get everything weed whacked down, mowed down, and work the soil and stuff. It's a lot of work, especially since we were also working on various other projects at the same time. So I figured I'd give you guys a bit of a garden tour just to show you guys where we have stuff, how things are starting out, and that way maybe we'll do like a weekly tour or something like that to show you guys how things are going. I'm not sure yet. Let me know in the comments if you think that'd be something interesting that you would enjoy seeing as the a progression of the garden throughout the season. So I'm right actually by the garden gate. We actually stuck to pretty close to the same plot and plan as we had last year in the garden in terms of location of stuff. So over on this side here, the gate is actually right over there. So when you first walk in to the left of the garden, this is where we planted all of our tomatoes last year, and they didn't do terrible. The only thing that did terrible for us was there was a massive, massive slug problem in here last year, which basically the slugs ate every single tomato that we had. So we had pretty much no harvest, which was a really big disappointment when you plant like over 100 freaking tomato plants, but it is what it is. This year we had gotten some stuff started in the garden and the slugs came and ate it all. So what we did was we actually brought all of our ducks and geese in here for a few days and well, they ate all the slugs. So worked out. That is definitely something that I would highly recommend if you have a wet climate area that you're growing stuff in. Definitely get you some ducks because they are amazing at getting all them slugs. Anyways, so right over here is where we started with the tomatoes. This is where we grew the tomatoes last year as well. So this row here, this is actually our cherry tomatoes, and we have everything growing right beside a 4-foot tall fence. We like doing it that way so that way we can use the fence almost as a trellis, so we can just sort of weave the tomato plant in and out of the fence, and then we don't have to do so much of tying up, and it helps support the plant, gives it a nice place that it looks nice, keeps the animals out, and it just very multi-purpose. So over here we have the cherry tomatoes, and then down along the side down that way are actually all of our like slicers and paste tomatoes. think that Tracy said we have about 40-ish tomatoes, which is it's a good healthy number, which we're gonna, if everything goes well this year, we're gonna have a lot of tomatoes to put in the pantry, because we are kind of running low on some things since last year it was such a poor harvest. So as you guys will notice, the tomato plants are clear back here, and we have this big open space of bed space right here. And because we do have a small place that we are working on, you pretty much have to think outside of the box, and basically any bare spot of soil, you got to cover it with something. So what we did was we actually mixed some carrot seeds and some radish seeds together and put them in this space here. This is probably about a foot to a foot and a half between the grassy walkway and the tomato plant. So that'll give the bed plenty of space to be able to grow a bunch of different root vegetables. Words are so hard for me sometimes when I start filming. So we continued on with that the entire way down over on this way too. They go to the second to last T-post down there. So it's a pretty big row of tomatoes. And then we actually switched up where we put the hot peppers and the sweet peppers this year. So last year the sweet peppers were all in this big wide row here. And this year we've decided to buy way more hot peppers than we did sweet peppers, because we know of somebody that's really interested in getting hot peppers off of us if we have an excess, and I really like hot peppers. So we decided to switch it up because we have about 2 or 3 times the amount of hot peppers as we do sweet peppers, and plus they're easier to grow, I think. So some of the ones that we have a bunch of are actually the chili poblanos, because those are really good to use in place of a sweet pepper in recipes. They don't have much of a kick, and they grow fantastically well for us. So it's kind of on the cusp of being best of both worlds. But so we got the hot peppers up here, and then in between the hot pepper rows, I actually scattered seeds for parsley and cilantro, because those are not vegetables. Jeez, oh Pete, these words, man, I'm telling you. They are herbs that are actually really good companion plants for peppers. and for various other things too. But so we did the peppers over there, and then in this in between area over here, I actually put a whole bunch of bush bean seeds, and then there's also some pole bean seeds. Well, over here it's pole lima beans along this trellis here. So that'll be nice because that'll grow up the trellis, and the bush beans will stay down low, so then that way it'll definitely utilize the space a lot better. And then in this row here, we pretty much followed suit, but it is green beans on the bottom and pole green beans going upwards. So that'll be really nice to have a big hoorah of things growing there. And then down here, we got some eggplants that are further along in the bean row. And then right over there is the sweet peppers. So all of the beds they seem like the soil has really improved since we put so much manure and things of that nature on the garden beds last year at the end of the year. And then all throughout the wintertime, we did the same thing. So with digging in the soil, it definitely seems to have boosted the quality. And there's a heck of a lot more worms in here. So that's definitely a really good sign that things are going to be, growing better than they were last year. So down in this area down here, it's more of just a really big garden bed, just one big bed with a bunch of trellises in between. Along those trellises, Tracy planted a whole bunch of winter squash seeds. So then that way we can have a nice big harvest for us and also to share with our animals. And we did do what we always do, and we broadcasted a whole bunch of wildflower seeds over in there. And then in our perennial bed, we did the same thing. So the asparagus is pretty much done for the year for us. But we have the ferns growing upwards, and all of our mints are doing really quite well. And our strawberries are also, the strawberries kind of took a beating from the ducks running around in here, so they're kind of looking a little sad, but it is what it is. Got to pick your battles, I suppose. Tracy was pulling in, and there's a turkey that was in the road. That's what she beat for. But so then on this side of the garden, over here, the right side, what we did along the edges over in here and the whole way around, we actually put some summer squashes over there, because last year we planted the summer squashes outside of the garden, and the turkeys ate every single last little one that there was. So we're hoping that with having them inside of the garden, then we don't have as many problems. So then in this center bed here, we actually planted a ton of brassicas. So we have a bunch of kohlrabis, a bunch of kales, and then some marigolds over here to try to help with pests. And then down further, we have more brassicas. This whole bed here is pretty much just for brassicas. So over in here, we have a bunch of really sad looking cabbages. Everything that got transplanted yesterday still has not bounced back. This was all we didn't get done on Saturday, was getting the brassicas planted. So I was able to get all that done yesterday. So then down further, we have more brassicas. They are all just Brussels sprouts, to my knowledge. I did mess up labeling, so could be cabbages. Who knows? They look the same. So then along this fence line here, we have the summer squashes that are going to be in the front, and then growing up the fence, we actually have pole beans planted, so that way it can really utilize growing vertically, since there isn't very much expansion we can do in the garden, basically like floor-wise. We do have intentions of building raised beds in the future here, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure where we're going to put them, how we're going to do it, if we're going to do it, don't know. But we have talked extensively about that it would be nice to not have to squat down so much to do this. And then once I got done planting the transplants that I have over there, I realized that we actually had a little bit more garden space left over. So in this space over here, I actually scattered some rutabagas on the far end over there, and then up here I scattered some seeds for turnips, and in between them, to keep the sections basically marked off, because they do look very similar coming up, I did put some bush beans in there. And then in this small bed that's right behind me here, this is our root vegetable bed. When we hatch out chickens and things like that, once they're about a week or two old, we end up transitioning their little brooder thing from having paper towels at the bottom to catch the droppings, to changing it to being sand. We've found that the sand, they make a lot less mess using the sand but you do have to wait till they're like a week or two old to transition them to sand because their bodies aren't old enough, younger than that, to be able to handle digesting the grit of the sand. So, and they will naturally eat it. But so we did that partially for keeping the mess down, but also so then that way we could utilize the sand and have an additional product that we could put on the garden. Where we live at, it actually is a very clay-like soil here. So it tends to be a bit of a struggle to grow root vegetables and things that need the soil to be really loose. So we dumped all of the poopy sand over in this bed here, and we actually used the cultivator to till it inwards, along with the spent hay from the goats and then some rabbit manure and, you know, whole bunch of fun smelling things. So we ended up doing all of that, and we put in, Tracy did this one, so I'm not sure what's planted where, but there are some turnips, some rutabagas, some beets, and then a white turnip called a shigowan, something like that. We had tried them at the farmer's market the one year, and they're really, really tasty, so we ended up getting some seeds to try growing them ourselves. So I'm really excited for this growing season, actually. Like, I didn't think I would be until we started like planting things out and plotting out the garden, and like now I'm like super duper jazzed because last year when we first put this garden in, like it was kind of like a Hail Mary pass even trying to get a garden in because we had just bought this place, and starting a new garden is extremely difficult, especially if you haven't had a chance to really read the land and the lay of the land. And just everybody will advise you to wait a year after buying someplace before you start putting in like gardens and things. It's really good advice, actually. But yeah, it is what it is. We're got it all planted out. Everything is where it's going to be, and we're just gonna keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. Honestly, it really can't be much worse of a harvest than last year, because last year was pretty sad. So hopefully this year will go a lot better. If you guys have any questions or comments or things to add in the video, please leave them in the comment section below. I thoroughly enjoy reading comments and responding to comments. It's kind of nice to have it be a two-way street of communication between me and the viewers, so it's just a fun little thing for me. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends on social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to help us grow. We'd greatly appreciate it. Alright, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.